and I think a lot of us out here, is why we are so frustrated with the Democratic leadership. We are seeing our democracy destroyed, and he's talking about tax cuts. And I get it. In normal times, he'd be absolutely right. And of course, even now, it's a huge priority. But priority one is our democracy. And what I wanted to ask him about, and, you know, with the work that Greg Palast has done, I just don't get why the Democratic Party why they're not screaming about the amount of people removed from voting rolls. And now that Musk has the ability, all our information, they can even do more of a surgical dive to remove people from voting rolls. So if, and that's a huge if, we have midterms, they can pretty much assure themselves that they'll maintain power. Yeah. And the Democratic Party, for some reason, they're crickets on this, and I don't understand why. And
I think it's that the people who are doing strategy for the Democrats realize that for most Americans, the vast majority of Americans, saying our democracy is at risk is meaningless. They don't understand it. They don't. You know, it's an abstraction. What does that mean, right? Our democracy's at risk. Well, yeah, I can still vote. You know, I can speak out loud against Trump if I want, and they won't get it until it's way too late. But what Americans can understand is that there's a bunch of rich people who are trying to friggin' rob you, and that's the message that they want to amplify this next week, because next week they're going to have the vote on the reconciliation bill. So, you know, that may well be a very good political strategy at it. You know, it might be. But I also think that they should be pointing out that Trump has aligned himself with Putin, and that's treason.
Yeah, and I get it that they're would not be in power. The Democratic Party is limited, but they still can use political theater, and they won't do it.
Just I was driven to the first time calling. I was driven to call after your conversation with the congressman, where I was stunned. They really don't get it. You've got it absolutely right. Me and my partner with political stuff, we've done some work for the party, and we did research on the roots of the right-wing stuff, and it won't surprise you to find out that today's GOP and the Nazis have the same roots, coming back from 1937. In any event, it's clear that the congressman does not realize the big picture. What these people are about is about undoing the regulatory state.
Correct.
Yeah, they'd love to make some money, but that's not what it's about. And I was stunned that he really doesn't get it. Yeah. Just two more very quick things. I would prefer to hear, say whites only instead of DEI. A lot of people don't even know what DEI means, and I think that Trump will be gone after 6 months, because they've got Vance in there ready to take over, and he can take orders, and Trump is too unpredictable.
But yeah, I think that they're trying to disassemble the regulatory state too, and that's what created the middle class. The American middle class is a result of the regulatory state.